The government opened up the borders. Everybody in South America knows about it, and they refused to close the borders. So what does Greg Abbott do? He has created a Texas tactical border force to patrol the border and keep the people out. We'll tell you about it. Claire, speaking of national security, the Texas governor, Greg Abbott, has announced the deployment of something that's truly amazing. He calls it the new Texas Tactical Border Force, and it's a response to the border crisis in a number of places where South Texas is literally overwhelmed with mass numbers of illegals pouring across the border. Abbott has rightly said that the federal government's responsibility is to secure the borders. It's a national security issue. It's been abrogated and abandoned by the federal government. I don't care what Secretary Mayorkas says or Biden says. They're lying about it. These borders are wide open and people are pouring across. Tell me about this border force. And is it going to work?
Well, in certain places, I think it obviously works. We've probably seen, many of us, these videos of the strands of razor wire that the Texas authorities have put up the Texas side of the river, the Rio Grande, and lining the other side of that razor wire, the officers, the agents of this new tactical force. So in those places where that's taking effect, where that's been put up, yes, they can stem the flow of these illegals, but there's a whole lot of other Texas border and New Mexico border, Arizona border, where the Trump wall was not completed and such measures are not in effect either. But in any case, kudos to Governor Abbott for at least doing as much as he can in these stretches.
So what is the federal government saying when a governor of the largest state on the border says, hey, we're being invaded? It is an invasion. Nobody is questioning that. And he says, I'm going to do the federal government's job. What's the federal government saying to Governor Abbott?
Nothing that I know of, nothing at least that we have heard of publicly. But absolutely what Governor Abbott is doing as the governor of Texas is in keeping with the U.S. Constitution. Both Article 1, Section 10, the part about that you just quoted, when actually invaded, the state is authorized to take steps to defend itself. And then also Article 4, Section 4, which talks about the responsibility of the federal government to not only provide a Republican form of government to the states, but to defend those states against invasion. And they're not doing it, and they're not talking about why they're not doing it either.
I'm disgusted. All Americans should be. Literally, the federal government has abandoned its primary responsibility, which is to protect the citizens of the country.